After 7 weeks of the college football season, it's time to admit it's probably too cold at this point for shorts and a t-shirt. But like Pimp C said, TV ain't got no temperature. We're gonna roll with it. There are emotions this week, so many of them. However, as always, we limit it to 3. First emotion this week, Glee. Oh man, there's so many things to feel Glee about. Not because you're a good person, but because you're laughing at the pain of others. And if you wanted to laugh at the pain of others, man, this is like a great point in the calendar for it, because we just came off of Blood Week. Blood Week! Blood Week was when everybody lost. Everybody except Alabama, because remember, there's only one really good football team in college football. Everyone else, you're just trying to keep it together, man. There's not much sleep going on at my house. It's bad right now. I'll be honest. But you know what? We're making it work. Like Clemson. I'm sorry. It was great to watch you lose. You know why? Not because I don't like Clemson, but because I love Syracuse and because I love what Dino Babers does. And I know that when he gets back to the locker room after somehow upsetting you 27-24, whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our house. Whose house? Our... Then they're going to start jumping. You're going to remember what this sport is about, which is youthful exuberance, energy, the upset, enjoying things, even though most weeks you're probably just going to scrape by. Am I saying that in life you're Syracuse football? Yeah, you're probably a lot closer to Syracuse football. And that's fine, because sometimes when Clemson gets their quarterback injured, makes a series of insane mistakes, doesn't have the greatest game on defense, gets played by Eric Dungy, sometimes you end up winning. Also helps if the punter just decides to, you know, throw deep because he sees it. I'm not mad at you, punter. Sometimes you got to shine, even if that shining is the visual of your entire football team just exploding at once on a Friday night in upstate New York. By the way, no one's ever been to upstate New York. When someone says it exists, demand proof. You can also feel glee at watching other teams lose. That's perfectly acceptable because you get to feel happy for another team. Somebody's like, oh, you're just being a hater. Well, maybe a little bit. Being a hater is a great joy in life, and I encourage you to embrace a healthy amount of it. Like 32% of your time, healthy haterdom. 33%, it's too much. It's toxic. It's bad for the bloodstream. It'll kill your liver and kidneys. What you need to do is you need to be happy for the Arizona States of the world. Or for Cal. Like, you didn't watch it because you were probably asleep because it happened at like 4 in the morning. But Cal put the dog on Washington State. And by dog, I mean like a 180-pound St. Bernard that it just dropped on Mike Leach. And Mike Leach was down there on the ground going like, oh, you know, funny story about being trapped under a St. Bernard. Hi, Mike. I hope you're not watching this because that means you're wasting time. And you're not trying to fix your offense that scored 3 points against Cal. But if you are watching this, yeah, you got to fix that offense. But, you know, it's also time to talk about an emotion, which is also a state of being, which is also a real important thing for a relationship. We're going to talk about trust. You got to trust at this point that things are either going to continue to go well, or if they haven't gone as well, you got to trust people to fix them because they got to fix it. The first thing everybody wants to do at this point in the college football season is fire everybody. And really, that's irrational. There's a lot of people who you could fire, who maybe should get fired. And when I say a lot, I mean one. I probably mean Butch Jones, because Butch Jones is like totally fired. His job's going to depend on beating Vanderbilt. He's not going to beat Vanderbilt. It's not happening, all right? But you got to have faith. You got to have a little bit of trust in somebody. For instance, I don't know, Barry Odom. Barry Odom at Wazzu. That's a bad year, man. Apparently he used a can of lighter fluid as a motivational tactic with unspecified methods and techniques. I don't want to know what that is, but that sounds Missouri as hell. If you're like, hey, you know what inspires me? Can of lighter fluid. Yeah, that's some middle of the country stuff right there. Additionally, you got to trust your Tom Hermans, right? You paid a lot of money for him. It's not going to happen all at once, but what you can do, you can have a respectable showing against Oklahoma. You can finish out the rest of the year pretty powerfully. You can start beating your Kansas States. You can recruit. Remember, when all else goes wrong, look at the recruiting rankings to just feel better. Potential hypothetical success that hasn't even happened yet, go ahead and start bragging on it. It's a short life. You should enjoy it. Finally, my favorite emotion in all of this is probably the one I feel a good 98% of the time while awake, which is flummoxed. There are a lot of fun things to be baffled about and flummoxed by in college football this week. For instance, Michigan State, guess what they are? They're 5-1. How? You just insert that Zach Galifianakis gif, right? Of like putting the math together. Maybe the Brazilian lady doing the math, right? With the little triangle and the cone here. Yeah, do that. I'm gonna try to be that human gif, right? Because they're 5-1. You know who else is 5-1? Kentucky. You know how they lost? They lost by not covering 2 receivers. If not for that, literally not covering a receiver, and then doing it again at the goal line against Florida, they're 6-0. That's a 6-0 football team you're looking at right now. Oh, surely they'll lose in the back half of the schedule. Ohio State, good God, just forget the Oklahoma game ever happened. You turned JT Barrett into like, I'm trying to, Kurt Warner 98, 99? 99. You don't want Kurt Warner 98. I think he's stocking shelf. Kurt Warner 99, you want that one. You don't even have Marshall Faulk. You're not even playing NFL 2K. You can also be flummoxed by negative things. I think it's fair to be flummoxed by Louisville because Louisville has Lamar Jackson and they're 4-3. That means your defense is bad. That means your defense did something like giving up 900 points to Boston College. That means that your defense is so bad glad that the greatest player in college football, who we sleep on like a discarded chaise lounge on the pavement at this point, yeah, that's how bad your defense is that you nullify the most powerful, like, mutant in college football. You have basically Thanos over there, like the god of football death, and he's only one game above 500 because of your defense. You can be flummoxed by a few other things. I don't really know how LSU's winning. I don't. They get 25 points and they apply them at exactly the right time. You want to be in like a 3-touchdown game with them, and preferably you want to come from the Sun Belt. You don't want to be a major conference in a 1-point game with them, because this year they're winning them, right? Like, I don't know. Apparently you get 25 points and you just have to budget them carefully. Right now, Ed Orgeron's got that grocery list down pat, and like every check is clearing by a cent at the end of the month. Well done, Ed Orgeron. Also, I think you should be flummoxed by Notre Dame, because they're really good. I know we've all slept in them, but remember, they only lost to Georgia, a team that right now is just taking opponents and turning them into asphalt, just flattening them, paving them, letting everyone else drive on them. That's not a bad loss to have. Notre Dame's good. We'll have to have that national conversation about how you should be this excited about Notre Dame, but not that excited, and you have to ignore the fact that they're Notre Dame, so you have to, you know, like apply the right amount of like national hate to them, but then like readjust for them, and it's a balance is what I'm saying. It's a flummoxing, confusing balance that we're all gonna have to go through as a nation together. So in total, our emotions this week: Glee, haha, that other team lost, but someone else won. So it's like 50% hate. Trust, you better trust somebody, because you can't fix it. You're a fan. Your life's just gonna be miserable sitting there hoping somebody gets fired who you can't fire. And 3, being flummoxed. I encourage you to be flummoxed, because life isn't like the Alabama defense. It's not a machine that just easily processes people and delivers predictable results 98 to 99% of the time. No, no, no. It's a lot more like the Louisville defense. It gives up on a lot of things and puts you in bad positions all the time. Did we talk a lot about Louisville defense being bad? Oh, we should.